Hey guys, welcome to another By the Numbers video. Today we're going to take a look at the Fire Kindle, and we're going to go over the unit's skills, key stats, where this unit can be used, whether it's in Banu, like in Martin, wherever, Adventure. Then we're going to take a look at the gear choices that you'll get from those bosses and what stats you should be looking for. What alternate gear choices or alternate ways to build this unit, as well as we're going to look at units that this uh, unit can partner with to be even stronger or to complement his abilities. And then lastly, any notes or anything you should keep in mind if you choose to build this unit. Okay? So, without further ado, let's jump into it. Before we jump into skills, let's take a look on our classifications and see where Fire Kindle is going to fall. Okay, so as you can see, we have 8 classifications where units might fall into. This unit is going to fall into the pure range DPS column, and other units that he could potentially compete with are Tolkien, Lilas, and Caesar. We'll see why when we take a look into his skills. So Kindle's strength definitely comes from his kit, as with most units, but what makes Kindle a powerhouse is his passive. His passive is Keen Senses. His Keen Senses help Kindle hit his mark with deadly precision. Critical damage increased by 80% at max level. If you're one that likes to see big numbers like 23k, 24k flash across the screen from his shots, then this unit is for you. He has an innate critical damage increase on top of this as well. So when we get in the gear, we'll take advantage of this. But his basic attack shoots a sniper rifle, dealing 110% of physical attack damage when this is fully skilled up to a single target. His first skill, Aim Shot, shoots with deadly precision, and at max level this does 175% of his physical attack to a single target, and the range is increased by 1, which takes his effective range up to 7 tiles. So that, paired with his movement range, anything 10 tiles ahead of you will be able to be shot. And this attack has a great modifier for damage. So this will be one that you get those big numbers from. Last, his third skill is called Final Blow. Settling into position, Kindle delivers a final shot, dealing 165% physical attack when it's max skilled to a single target, plus 10% of target's HP loss additional physical damage. And the cooldown gets reduced to 4 turns, 5. This is another very strong attack. It has a very nice physical damage scaling. One of the stronger attacks in the game. You'll also see big crit numbers from this one as well, plus the additional 10% HP loss will make this one very strong. And you should be seeing clips of this in the background as I'm talking about these skills. But his last skill to consider will be his leadership skill. It affects fire and wind elements, and it increases the physical attack by 20%. Now, his leader skill you probably won't want to utilize unless you have nothing else, because there's so many other units that offer this and additional bonuses as well. Devney Officer increases physical attack. You're really going to want to run Kindle under a crit lead anyway, and take advantage of his passive. So let's check him up. 6 stars here. And we can move right on into his stats. Okay, so his base hit points is 2379. He's kind of frail, but that's to be expected with a ranged unit. So just make sure you keep him in the back and let him do his sniping thing. His physical attack is a pretty good 1042. Now this is lower than, say, like Fran and a few of the other, but that's because he can pump out so much damage with passive. Now, the part that's pretty different than the other ranged units, his attack range starts out at 6. This starts out higher than Fran and Lilas and Caesar and he has an effective range higher than any other ranged unit currently. Now his movement range is kind of lackluster at 3, but with his range it's not too noticeable. Now action charge speed 223. You want him to go as often as possible. He's not going to get the action charge speed that his counterparts will get, like say Dark Kindle boosts his own action charge speed instead of getting the crit damage increase. So a substat that you ideally want on your accessories is action charge speed. You want him to go as much as possible. You want to snipe, you want to wipe out everything. Now, I said earlier that he starts out with an innate critical damage increase. He does 25% on top of his passive, which 80, so he starts out with 105 critical damage increase. He does not start out with critical chance at all, though. So you're going to want to put that on gear. Well, all the rest of it's base. Most units have 15% defense penetration. Everything else is 0. Now, one thing to note is physical damage immunity rate. He's going to take more damage from physical than he should. So you don't want melee getting to him. If a ranged attacks him, they're going to do a little more damage. Now he does have a base 0 for magic, so magic is just going to do whatever the base damage of the spell is. So where can this unit be used? The short answer is everywhere. You can use him for Inbanu. You can use him for Lycan. I think he's a part of an auto team that can actually auto Lycan. Martin, he could potentially be used for Martin. He could take the place of Dark Lilas. Or, yeah, Lilas. He, everyday farming, especially these event dungeons, he's very useful in PvP. Yeah, if you build this unit, he's going to be one of the top damage dealers. Gear. Your choices. Let's back up here and take a look. Now, I don't have him geared ideally, but I will show you how to gear him. So you're going to want these rings here. Physical attack percent with critical damage percentage on it. Now, ideally, substats, you're going to want attack increases and action charge speed on the substats. He does not need effect accuracy at all. He doesn't apply any debuffs, so you just want to go straight attack, because that's what he's good for. Let's see. HP, I mean, if you roll HP after 1, it's not the end of the world. He'll be okay. Just want him to go fast, and you want him to hit hard. So crit damage really is the main option. The second option is the Elven's Perna Ring with the action charge speed, but you're going to lose a little bit of DPS, but you're going to take more time. Now for weapons, got it. Not the best, but it'll work. Now, for weapons, you really only have one choice with Kindle. Crit chance. In fact, you want a crit chance weapon with a crit chance substat. His strength comes from his passive, crit damage. If he is not critting, he is not utilizing that passive to the best of its ability. So for weapons, you're going to want crit chance substat with a physical attack percentage substat, and ideally you can roll either action charge speed or flat attack or just another damage boosting substat. Defense penetration is also acceptable. I know the Heartseeker just came out, and a lot of people want that to be good, and it could be in the future, especially considering they just added 2 new substats for crit damage reduction to enemies. So in the future, wanted bosses could have reduced crit done to them. In that case, it's really going to neuter Kindle. Also, throw your enchant on your bow. Get 18% if at all possible. I've been very unfortunate. Alternate builds, for him, it's either you're stacking crit chance, crit damage, or you're stacking crit chance and action charge speed. There's really no alternate builds for Kindle at all. So team synergy. Kindle will definitely be the strongest under a crit chance and crit damage lead. So you have a few different options running as leader for him. Your first option is Garrett, either Shadow Garrett or Fire Garrett, both buff fire crit strike chance increased by 14%, as well as they give a flat physical attack percent increase as well. Another option will be Fire and Shadow Horus, or one that just affects fire. He boosts critical strike chance by 12% and critical damage by another 20% as well, which kind of complements Kindle a little better than the flat percent attack. I mean, he's still getting a damage buff from either one, but it's boosting his critical damage even more. You do have a variety of physical attack increase leads you can run, but if you don't have a critical chance increase, that Kindle will get a boost from, like Lycian here. He will also get a boost from right here. Some of my dark units here. Dark Fran. Dark Fran is a little bit stronger version of Horus's leader skill. She boosts critical strike chance by 14%, just like Garrett does, but she boosts critical damage by 24%. So if you have Dark Fran and you like using her, Kindle is a good complement to her as well. Now, that's for leader. Now, what other units can you run with him in the team? A lot of people are running Dark Lilith with him while being under a Fran leadership, because Fran's leadership affects fire and shadow. So run Fire Kindle and you can run Dark Lilith, and both are built about the same way. You want crit chance, crit damage on both of them. So they're pretty much like the dynamic duo. They can snipe, and you can see some pretty big numbers out of both those units. For the 4th unit, you could run a Devnia Officer, which is her passive inspires allies, increasing their physical attack by 40% at max level. You can run the Shadow Researcher if you're fortunate enough to get his buff skilled up. He casts a buff to increase physical attack by 60% for 3 turns. Which, if you're not fortunate enough to get the Researcher, you also have the option to use a Monkey Elder, who has a watered down version of that, 10% less, increasing physical attack by 50% for 3 turns. So these units are going to give him a little damage increase. Horus as well, if you're using Horus. His passive basic attacks deal 400 bonus physical damage, so that's increasing Kindle even more, as well as a buff that Horus casts that increased critical strike chance by 30% for 3 turns. Pretty strong. Personally, I like running Kindle with my Garrett. That way, Garrett can run out in front and absorb some of the attention, especially if you're not going to use a tank. If you use a tank, then you can run Kindle and another ranged. Horus is a ranged himself, but Horus is really, really strong with him. So pick your team. You have a variety of options. There may be additional options that I'm not aware of, but the ones that work the best for me are Garrett, Horus, Brand Leadership, and Devnia Officer. I haven't tried using the Researcher yet, but I've seen a lot of videos where people like to utilize the buff from the monkey and make Lilas and Kindle hit pretty hard. So you have a variety of options to throw. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and comment below what your thoughts or any other units you'd like to see me cover. If you click the various links all around, that'll take you to our other social media sites for Facebook, for Twitter, and Discord, and whatever else we do. We're trying to build a pretty strong community for War of Crown, and yeah, come be a part of it. You can always catch me on Twitch streaming weekdays starting around 5 p.m. Central Time, and on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, from around noon until I get tired. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.